Welcome back to Onyx Recaps. Today we will talk about the movie The Untouchables, released in 2011. The movie starts with a man named Driss who is driving his boss Philippe through the streets of Paris. When they get stuck in traffic, Driss gets bored and starts driving very fast, ignoring traffic rules. This gets the attention of the police who start chasing them. But Driss is fearless. He bets 100 euros that he can lose the police, but he fails and gets caught. When the police stop them, Driss acts offended and tells them that Philippe is sick and needs to. The police found a wheelchair in the truck and saw Philippe pretending to have a seizure. The police forgave Driss for driving too fast and helped him get to the hospital. Driss played music to celebrate and gave Philippe a cigarette. They left before the hospital staff could find them. Philippe and his assistant Magali are trying to find a new caretaker, but none of the applicants are doing well in the interviews. Driss goes to see Philippe and Magali get papers signed for his unemployment benefits, even though it's not his turn yet. He is a little rude and hits on Magali, but Philippe finds him funny and asks him to come back the next day. Driss goes back home and tries to take a bath, but his younger siblings bother him. His sister Mina helps him out, and he notices his brother Adama getting out of a strange car. Later, his mom arrives and gives him a Fabergé egg, but she's upset because he disappeared for 6 months without calling and is acting like her house is a hotel. Driss's mom is fed up with his lies and tells him to leave since she has other kids to take care of. He spends the night with some friends from the neighborhood. The next day, Driss goes back to Philippe's house to get his papers signed. Yvonne, the housekeeper, shows him around and tells him about Philippe's routine. She shows him a room with a bathroom that he could have for himself. Driss is amazed by the bathtub. He meets Philippe, who offers him a job after giving him the signed paper. Philippe bets that Driss won't last more than 2 weeks. Driss accepts the job for a 1-month trial. Driss is shown how to take care of Philippe, including how to help him with everyday tasks like getting dressed and taking a shower. Driss is uncomfortable with some of the tasks, like putting on Philippe's stockings and cleaning him after using the bathroom, but he accepts them as part of his job. Driss gets used to his job and learns how to do things correctly, like handing Philippe the phone and organizing his mail. He isn't allowed to read some of Philippe's private letters. Driss starts collecting flyers about female escorts and keeps them in a separate folder. He also tries to have fun and flirts with Magali, but she doesn't seem interested. Sometimes he calls escorts to spend time with him. One day, Yvonne finds some dangerous weapons in his bag but doesn't say anything. Driss is supposed to drive Philippe around, but he doesn't want to use a van to transport him. Instead, he chooses a fancy car which makes Philippe excited, even though Yvonne disagrees. When they try to leave the building, a neighbor is blocking their way, ignoring the sign that says parking is forbidden. Driss took quick action when a man parked his car wrongly by threatening him to move it. Philippe was impressed, but Yvonne didn't like it. They visited a museum where Philippe wanted to buy artwork that Driss didn't think was worth the money. Later, Philippe's relative told him that Driss had a violent past, but Philippe didn't care. Driss tried to flirt with Magali but failed. He had dinner with Yvonne while Philippe wrote a letter to someone named Eleanor. Yvonne turned off the baby monitor and told Driss about their relationship. Driss teased Yvonne about the gardener. Later, Philippe had trouble breathing and Driss heard it through the baby monitor. Driss helped Philippe during a breathing attack by comforting him and wiping his face. When Philippe woke up again, he needed fresh air, so Driss took him for a walk by the river. Philippe told Driss about his phantom pain and how he can't pleasure a woman but enjoys having his ears massaged. To relieve the pain, Driss shared his joint with Philippe. They went to a restaurant and shared a meal, while Philippe shared more about his life. He met his wife in college, but she had many miscarriages and was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Philippe loves competing in extreme sports, and paragliding was one of his favorites until he broke his back in a crash. He thinks his real disability is living without his wife. They adopted Alyssa when they couldn't have their own children. Philippe hires Driss after his trial period ends and asks him to return a Fabergé egg he stole, which was a gift from his wife. Driss asks Mina for help finding the egg, but she is upset that he only talks to her for that reason. She tells him that the police have been calling their home. Driss also visits Adama, who was caught with drugs. Adama refuses to have lunch with Driss and leaves in a suspicious car. Later, Driss listens to Philippe dictate a letter to Eleanor with Magali. Driss thinks Philippe's love letters are too long and suggests he should be more direct. Philippe has been writing to a woman named Eleanor for 6 months, but they never exchanged pictures. Driss finds her phone number in one of the letters and calls her, encouraging Philippe to talk to her outside of letters. Philippe talks to her all the time, even during the opera. Driss convinces Philippe to exchange pictures, but Alyssa interrupts him while he's painting and makes fun of him. Driss gets upset and kicks her out. Philippe is trying to choose a picture to send to Eleanor. Yvonne hides the picture inside an escort file, and Driss complains about Alyssa's behavior. Philippe is surprised to hear that Driss has been painting, and they continue to become better friends. Driss takes Philippe to play in the snow, and they go out running together. Philippe gets Driss his first suit, and they even share joints and hire escorts together. Philippe's birthday is coming up, but he doesn't seem excited about it, as he finds it boring to meet with relatives who only come to see him on that day. During his birthday party, Driss goes to check on Alyssa, who has taken some of Yvonne's pills and is crying in her room. Alyssa is sad because her boyfriend, Bastien, broke up with her and called her mean. She asks Driss to talk to Bastien for her, and he agrees to do it for some money. Meanwhile, Philippe shows Driss painting to his relative and convinces him to buy it for 11,000 euros. Yvonne tells Driss that Magali is in a rocky relationship with someone named Fred. As the party winds down, Philippe plays some classical music for Driss and then dances to Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind and Fire with everyone else. Later, Driss opens Eleanor's latest letter to Philippe, which includes her picture and plans to meet in Paris. On the day of the date, Yvonne and Driss help Philippe get dressed up, and Driss uses his day off to talk to Bastien and convince him to apologize to Alyssa and bring her croissants every day. Later, the man goes to see his mom at work, but he only watches her from far away. Yvonne and Philippe wait for Eleanor at a restaurant, but she is very late. Philippe gives up waiting and leaves without noticing Eleanor arriving at the same time. That night, Philippe takes Driss on his private plane and gives him the money he got for selling a picture. They go paragliding and return home the next morning. Adama scolds Driss for the scars on his face but won't say why he's upset. Philippe asks Driss about his family, and Driss tells him that Adama isn't actually his brother and his parents are his aunt and uncle. Driss tells Philippe that his real name is Bakary Bassari, but they called him Idris because there were other kids with the same name. His aunt and uncle brought him from Senegal because they couldn't have children. They later had more children, and Driss's aunt had a baby. Philippe decides to fire Driss so he can be with his family. The next morning, Driss packs his bags and prepares to leave. Magali introduces Driss to her girlfriend when he tries to hit on her. Yvonne gives Driss an escort file that he had started, but he throws it away when he finds out that the photo he had chosen was hidden. Driss keeps the picture for himself and leaves. Later, Philippe has dinner with a new caretaker who he doesn't like. When Yvonne, the housekeeper, goes out on a date, nobody scolds Philippe for leaving his dinner. Driss goes back to his old life with his friends but gets a new job by pretending to know more than he does. Philippe continues to dislike his caretaker and is always unhappy. One night, he calls Driss for help with his pain. Driss takes him to the hospital after a run-in with the police. Later, Driss takes Philippe to the coast, and Philippe feels better. Driss helps Philippe prepare for a date with a woman named Eleanor, and they become friends. In real life, Philippe now lives in Morocco and has a new family, and Driss has his own business and a family too. The two men are still good friends. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more recaps.